Welcome to our special segment on the move where we look at global travel trends here in the U.S. The summer travel season is upon us. Memorial Day holiday weekend is the unofficial start of the season, which happens at the end of this month. And this year will likely be even busier than pre-pandemic levels. According to forecasts by AAA, it's expected more than 42 million Americans will travel over the Memorial Day weekend. That would make it the third busiest Memorial weekend in more than 20 years. Air travel will likely be up 11%, more than 3 million people planning to fly. Road trips are expected to see a boost of 6% compared to last year. Gas prices are down. More travelers will hit the roads, but inflation continues to be a concern here in the U.S. And for all things travel, Michael Taylor joins us. He's the Managing Director for Travel, Hospitality, and Retail at J.D. Power. Michael, good to see you. I think I remember us talking about this not too long ago, that airfares were skyrocketing, gas prices were up, we were all feeling a little bit of a pinch, but in looking at the stats recently, people are still flying, airfares are still up, gas prices are down a little bit, but that's not stopping people from driving. People seem to feel pretty good this year, and despite all the stuff you hear in the media, they're planning to go on vacation and do stuff with their kids and their family or whatever they've got planned, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think one of the things we've somewhat realized after the pandemic was that the travel industry is not very good at forecasting post-pandemic travel demand. That demand still remains high despite the fact that prices are up significantly, especially in air travel, because of the shortage of pilots and aircrafts flying, and also the elimination of certain routes to handle perhaps the super demand that we're going to see this time around. As you said in your run-up, the demand is quite strong, and that's still surprising a lot of people.
There is, I'm hearing more and more criticism. I've never heard this before, that airlines are gouging, or they're taking advantage of, yes, there's strong demand, but they're really jacking up prices. The hotels, you call around in DC this week, you're paying $600, $700, $800, $900, $1,000 a day.
Right.
This is, I have never seen this before. I get it. It's the holiday time. People want to come to DC, but these hotels cannot possibly, or airlines, make back the money they lost in a couple of months of what they lost the last couple of years. And there's some criticism for that.
Yeah, I think there's a danger here that they may damage their brands, because they do see this really high demand, and of course that's being met by high prices. And I believe they're going to test the limits of how much they can charge for a room or for a normal coach seat. And if eventually if something's too good to last, it won't. And I believe that's what the airlines are going to find in the middle of this travel season or towards the end of it, that they just can't charge whatever they want. People will say, that's just too expensive, I'm just going to stay home.
This issue of not enough flight attendants, not enough people, not enough pilots. We heard from Southwest, they had legacy issues with their software. We've heard from other major airlines that, we can't have enough pilots. But that's starting to get a little old after a couple years that we've been hearing about this.
Yeah, well, Phil, you and I talked about this before. This is the pilot shortage is a long-term problem. The cost of becoming a co-pilot for an individual is in the $200,000 US dollar range, which is puts the price of becoming a co-pilot sort of out of reach for a lot of the people who want to become pilots eventually. So this is a long-term problem they've got. It's been building for the last 14 years or so, when the FAA changed their rules about the minimum number of flight hours required to become a co-pilot, and co-pilots becoming pilots. So we're just seeing that right now, that during this high demand time, that it's just there is a shortage of pilots, and it's not going to be solved anytime soon. And the other the key drivers of inflation here is the reduction of the number of flights. So you're going to see planes packed full of people, especially in the second half of this travel season, and that's when the airlines tend to make the most revenue. And right now they're making record revenues per quarter, not so much record profit, because they don't have enough aircraft and pilots to really reach to the markets that make them the most money.
It is such a wild scenario if you think about it. Here you have all this demand. You have passengers really overpaying for the most part, and airlines can't find a way to actually make money. It seems to me that there's no hope they ever make money at this rate. But what's different about this year than last year is last year we were so focused on Europe because of the reopening post-pandemic. This year you've got Asia that's reopened, and I've got friends trying to book tickets to China, to Hong Kong, to wherever, and they're paying 3 to 4 times what they used to pay. And the excuse you hear is the same thing. Oh, there's not enough planes, there's not enough seats, and so on and so forth. Okay, so if that's the issue, when does this actually get resolved?
Well, I think probably that what needs to happen in the United States, at least, is we need to have a bit of a, rollback as far as the number of hours required to become a co-pilot. That would certainly help. That would reduce the cost of becoming a pilot eventually, and would increase the number of people that could actually fly aircraft. And there really isn't any safety concern if you have 250 hours or 1,500 hours in an aircraft in order to become a co-pilot. There doesn't seem to be any difference in the safety factor at all. So I think that's probably what has to happen, although that would be a governmental change, which of course they don't really react very much to financial concerns in the marketplace. At least they don't do it very quickly.
Right. Michael, I hope we are all wrong about these price increases. It's extremely hard for families, of course, to travel.
It is.
But I get it. Michael, appreciate you. Thank you very much.
You're quite welcome.